Welcome to PowerShell Pro Tips. I'm Andrew Pla, Microsoft MVP and PowerShell lover, and today I'm going to be taking you on a journey of creating WinUI 3 GUIs from PowerShell. This is made possible by a module called WinUIShell by MDGRS, and all you have to do is get installed to get started. I'll walk you through all that. I'll introduce you to some concepts that you might run into, and I'll sort of hopefully open up your eyes to what's possible when you can create fancy GUIs from PowerShell that can do PowerShell. Let's dive into some code. All right, so this is the WinUIShell GitHub repository right here. This is an open source project, and as you can see right here, that is what you can expect to see. Fancy WinUI 3 modern looking GUIs, all from PowerShell. Now there's some prerequisites which I'll cover here in a minute, but I'm going to want to show you real quick one of the coolest things about this, and that is that you can actually interact with it. I'll actually not import the module because I already did. One of the cool things you can do is actually code interactively. So I'll spawn a window here. As you can see, something's up, but what's interesting is that I can type into PowerShell still, right? So the thread is not fully occupied. There's a multi-threading approach here, right? Which you don't have to worry about because there's a client-server model that this application uses, and you can leverage it without having to write any code. You saw how little that was? Look at that. Just a handful of lines. I'll cover what all these things do and introduce you to the concepts in a little bit, but I want to show you that you can actually call the button thing right here. It's an object. And if we look at the properties, the top one is content, which sounds like, let's just try changing the content. All right, so just like that equals, what do we want to set it to? Okay, I'm not very creative. And as you can see, this happens. Very simple example, doesn't look that good. That's okay, it was only a handful of lines of code. What I can show you from here, though, is there are actually some really nice examples. So in the repository, there's a whole bunch of examples you can copy and borrow from. So let's look at this one right here, install dialog. Looks kind of fancy. We click upgrade. I think I actually made it. I manually changed the size so it was a little bit bigger. Normally, the example's a little bit tighter, but I'm just experimenting. But we're looking at a modern WinUI 3 GUI here. All the fancy features you'd expect to see. It looks good. It doesn't look like it's a relic from the past. And you can even advance upon this and make it look a little bit better. Let's look at that code real quick, just because there's a quick payoff I want to show you, which is, as you can see, there's a ton of stuff in this code that maybe it looks foreign to you. We have like classes calling methods. That might be a newer concept to you. I'll break it down for you in a little bit here. But what I want to call attention to is actually the add-click method. So button.addClick, as you can see right here, these little curly braces right here, that means you can execute PowerShell code. So all of this stuff happens whenever someone clicks on a button. In this example, it's not actually doing anything except for moving forward the progress bar and changing some status text. But in your example, you could do anything. You could call APIs. You could use other modules to do different things. The world is really your oyster. Ideally, you already have a solution, right? You have some problem that you've already solved. Now think about packaging that in a way where the other person using it or future you doesn't have to interact with PowerShell. Would a GUI be sufficient for some of these tasks? Would it elevate the work you're already doing? I think it just might. So let's dive into some concepts here. I put some slides together, you could say some code that introduces a whole bunch of concepts that I think are critical to know. So first of all, getting started, you're going to need PowerShell 7.4. You're going to need a modern build of Windows. You're going to need the Windows app runtime and the .NET desktop runtime. Both of the links are right there. And then you're going to need to install the PS resource, WinUIShell. Okay, so get the module installed. And from there, this is the simple hello world example I think we just ran. Okay, so there's some stuff here. I'll cover what the using does. You can see we create a little window here. We set a title. We resize the window. Looks like we create a new button. We set some stuff on it. Then we set the content of the window to be the button, and then we activate it. Okay, that was a lot of words, but hopefully your brain can start seeing some shape to it. If you want to take this to the next level, though, you're going to run into a lot of things that might be brand new to you. All right, so the using namespace WinUIShell. So the using statement essentially makes it so whenever we call the WinUIShell.window class, we can just specify the ending. We don't need to specify WinUIShell dot. We can just say window. Makes for a little bit of cleaner code, and I prefer that approach. So, all right, first concept, Windows. Window is the thing, okay? So you can resize it, and you need to create one. So win equals, boom, copy and paste this code, and you can specify the size here. And the last thing you're going to want to do with your window is activate it, okay? And that makes it so it pops up. And from what we said earlier, because you can make changes to it, it's active, you don't need to put this as the last line of your script necessarily. You can put it early on, and then you can start playing with things. There's also the concept of buttons. Again, you can copy and paste this code. You can create a new button. You can set the content on it. You can set some styling and vertical and horizontal alignment. But you can also affect the add click event. Okay? Like I said earlier, anything can happen here. Anything can happen. There's already pre-built scripts that can do cool things for you. Perhaps you're doing something where you want to help out maybe your finance department with something. They have some kind of thing that involves CSVs and you've automated it and you want to share it with them. This gives you a really helpful route to be able to do that. All right. Now, this was the example code. We set the window content to a button. Okay. That can lead to some issues because a button is not going to cover all of our use cases. Sometimes we're going to want text in addition to buttons. So that is where the notion of a stack panel comes in. And you may not have heard of a stack panel before. I didn't, but you can think of it like a stack of panels. It is a parent structure that holds stuff inside of it. And so what we'll do is we'll set the window to be that. And then we can add multiple elements to the stack panel. And that's how that's done here, okay? The panel has some margins you can set. 32 is kind of a safe value I've been using. You can play around with that though. And then to add children, you just do this, parent.children.add, and then you specify the thing that you created. So like for button here, once we have this button created, we can add it to the stack panel. And then we set the content of the window to be the panel. And since it's dynamic, we can continue making updates to the panel without needing to respecify anything to win.content. There's text boxes, which are very cool. All right, create them. Same thing like every other element we're going to create. This is how you create a new one. This is how you instantiate it, you could say. Okay, you can set some features on it. You can set margin, and it's important to note that you specify it from left, top, right, bottom. So if you want to set the margins of that, that's how you specify each individual value. Okay. I'll introduce you to what this is too shortly. This message style, body strong text block style. That introduces us to a new thing, which this is actually the resource dictionary for WinUI 3. So as part of this, you're going to want to install the WinUI 3 gallery from the Microsoft Store. Let's grab that real quick. WinUI 3 gallery. There it is. I have it, so I will open it. It's a pretty simple app. It's like 30 megs, I believe. But it's the WinUI 3 gallery. So this project sort of is the mapping between PowerShell and WinUI 3. So it conforms to the WinUI 3 standard. You can use a resource dictionary. So we'll go under design guidance and go to typography. Okay. As you can see, there's a bunch of different text types on the left. That's how they're going to be displayed. And then there's actually a style with a name. So like this one right here is title block, text block style. Okay, so if we look back here, you see for the message block style, we set that to be body strong text block style. Let's look back and see which one that is. Body strong text block style. Okay. So to instantiate the resource dictionary, you do this. And then like any other dictionary in PowerShell, to call out a specific value, you just specify the name using this right here. Okay, that is most of the core concepts. There's a lot of other graphical elements that you can add, but I wanted to cover a simple use case that I put together. Let's see what we got here. So I quickly put together a PowerShell tips wrapper, essentially. So this is a project you can use, and I intentionally made it a little bit ugly and rough around the edges so you would have some room to improve things. There's a lot that can be improved to this. You can repurpose it to something that's helpful for you. But essentially what I covered here, and I guess I'll show you this. We'll run it from PowerShell here. All right. So as you can see, this pops up a window that says PowerShell tips, kind of a plain background. I think you could improve that. But we have the title of the tip, we have the author of the tip, and then we have the body of the tip. So I'll cover how I went about doing this. You can see, keep specifying as we keep pressing get tip, we get more tips. We're learning a lot here. And I got to give a shout out to the tips module, install ps resource tips, and get tips in your PowerShell terminal. All right. So that's an example. Let's see. There's a lot of boilerplate code that you can borrow, and I recommend doing that. I actually created a sort of starting point that I used, and we're going to create a window. We're going to activate it. That just lists things. We're going to resize the window. We're going to create that stack panel structure that we talked about. Then we're going to set it to the window content. Okay, we have to do that. And then from now on, we'll only be interacting with the stack panel. I don't think we're going to touch the window again, the window content at least. We're going to set a tip title. We're going to create a text block to also use for the title. And then we add that to the panel. All right, we create our resource dictionary. Okay, just like we did earlier. Then we're going to set the style to title block style. And the styles is where you can really change things and make things look a little bit nicer, in my opinion. I set some horizontal and horizontal alignment. Set the margin. And then this is where we start getting the PowerShell tip. Okay, so get PowerShell tip, that is a command from the tips module. And when you have it installed, running this will get you a tip. Okay, let's run that real quick just to make sure we're all following along. Okay, a lot of awesome stuff on this. We have a tip title, we have tip text, and we have an author as well. Okay, that is helpful for us. We'll be using that shortly here. We're going to create the title, a text block, and we're just going to set it to the tip title. Then we're going to add it to the stack panel. Now keep in mind, stack panel is kind of top to bottom, so you want to make sure you're specifying things in a way that makes sense. Kind of think about things ahead of time. The benefit of this module, though, is that you can do it interactively, like I showed earlier. You can adjust elements and see how they would actually change in the GUI. You can change the styles to see how does this look, how does that look, one by one after the other. Figure out what works for you, and then save it to your script. I can't begin to say how cool that workflow is, to be honest. Like, it's really easy to get into a flow, I found, with this module. All right, we're going to set a margin. We're going to do the same thing for author. As you can see here, I specified the whole name. We could just do that since we're using the using thing. All right, right here, I actually add the scroll view. So a scroll view is for things that can scroll. It's one of the elements that's available to you. I recommend checking out the WinUI 3 documentation to dive into that more. I think there's a link in the GitHub repository to get you started there as well. Let's take a look at that. You got to check out the README. There's so much good stuff here. But yes, since the API of WinUIShell tries to follow the WinUI 3's API, you can read the Windows App SDK documentation. Let's check out this example for button. And there you go. Now, this module doesn't currently support XAML, by the way, if anyone out there is wondering. That's your answer. But yeah, we're going to create a scroll view. We're going to add some stuff to it. Brushes are the ways you add colors. So to the scroll wheel, we're going to be setting that to be white. On the tip body, one thing that we ran into in my experiments was that sometimes if this was too small or there was too much text, we would need additional space. So made it a scrollable, and also we wanted to make sure people could highlight text. And you are able to do that now. Okay, let's look at the important part here, though, the add click. Okay, this is where whenever someone clicks something, it will be getting a new PowerShell tip, updating that variable, and then updating the title, the body, and the author based upon that. This is a simple example, but let the gears turn, connect some dots, figure out what works for you. And also, if you make this better, please send it to me. Wouldn't it be nice if there was we could make it a community project potentially. So I challenge you out there, if you're watching this feeling a little bit inspired, it's out there. Hit me up. I want to show a couple other examples before I let you go for the day, though. So we have the install dialog, which I thought was really cool. We have a little example of some different styling you can do. I think this is Comic Sans. I know that has mixed reviews, but it just goes to show that there's a lot of flexibility here. Let's do the multi-thread. Look at that. So you can actually call multiple subthreads. And if you don't want to worry about all the code that goes in that, just copy and paste it. I tell you what, honestly, cannibalize this stuff. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, the sign-in form is really cool. Look at that. So wild. See if there's one last one we can show. Boom. Very simple example, but this is where the top UI bar is customized. So go through these examples, open up issues on GitHub if you see something missing or want some clarification or something like that. Leave comments below if you have questions. I believe MDGRS might be stopping by, and we'll answer a couple along the way. But that is WinUIShell. Give it a star, give it an install. Let me know if you have any questions.